Hey there, Survivors. Cougar here, checking out Empires of the Undergrowth. It's kind of a RTS with realistic ants and all types of insects, and that's something I wanted to warn you about ahead of time. If you have a problem with realistic looking insects or spiders, this may not be a video for you to watch. That's just what the game is about. So if you don't have a problem with insects and spiders, then please join me as I start checking out Empires of the Undergrowth. Now, I say start, I have played through 2 missions and have established a formicarium here. The plot, the storyline behind this is that this is a formicarium, which is so it's an ant farm. It's in the laboratory of 2 scientists who are studying these ants and trying to figure out how they do in different situations. So for now, we're just building up. This is our home base, and then when we're ready, we can embark on these missions, these challenge missions here. And what that is that's the scientists putting the ants in specific situations and seeing how they do, seeing if they survive or not. Now you can see I've already done the first episode at 1, the first mission, New Home. I've also done the second mission, Subjugation. The next thing for us to try is the challenge that allows us to access the next missions. But I've already tried that and failed once, and I think we need to grind a little bit and build up our formicarium before we try anything new. So what I'm going to do instead is we're going to do this second mission, but we're going to do it, since we've already done it once, we now have the option to do it in challenge mode, which makes it harder, but provides bigger rewards, especially the first time you go through it on challenge mode. So we're going to do this on medium difficulty, challenge mode. It's going to be very tough, and I predict that even though I've played this mission once, I've never played the challenge mission once, which is harder. They throw harder stuff at you. So I'm going to predict that we're actually going to fail this mission. All we have to do to complete the mission is to build.
This Formica fusca black ant queen has given birth to her first brood. While the workers establish their new territory in the earth, above ground, a nearby colony of Formica sanguinea slave maker ants are on the lookout for would-be victims. These ants specialize in stealing larvae from neighboring nests and raising them as their own. If the black ant colony isn't prepared for the inevitable incursion, they may be wiped out entirely.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to try to avoid doing here, is wiping out our colony entirely, but it is going to be tough. To get things started, we need to build a place to store our food. We can order ants.
Unfortunately, the queen chose her colony's home poorly. This earth is infested with Grillotalpa, the European mole cricket. Growing up to 45 millimeters in length and with powerful forelegs, these beasts are masters of tunneling. The crickets have had their fill of roots for the day, and are now on the hunt for protein-rich invertebrates. This queen and her brood are in imminent danger of being devoured.
So Grillotalpia, we've got slave maker ants to deal with, and then we've got these big wood crickets to deal with. So the wood crickets are the new addition. The first time I did this, we just had to deal with the slave maker ants. So now we got more to deal with. To get things started, we need a place to. So we've built a place to store our food here. This is a beginning place, and you see the ants that come with the queen are already picking up some of this food and bringing it back to our food storage area. Now what we need to do is build a place to grow more ants. Our food stores are already full. That's because we haven't upgraded this, and it's pretty small right now. The problem is, you see, some of these tiles you can dig out. Some of them you can't. These are stone tiles that you cannot dig out. So we're just going to try to do the best we can to dig out some more space to lay down a place to birth more ants. So I'm going to go down here to the ants, and I'm going to click on these little worker ants. Right now, all we have, because we're still beginners, all we have are these little worker ants who aren't very strong. These are the Formica fusca, and then we have these slightly tougher Formica fusca black ants, and they're like melee fighters, and we're going to have to build some of them soon because those slave maker ants are going to be coming in and trying to raid our colony almost immediately. But let's get some worker ants going first. I'm going to drag this group under group 1, so they're now our group 1, and then once we get the next stuff down, we can build a group 2. So these green shapes that you see here, these are food that we can probably access, and then the red exclamation points, obviously danger. So let's push down here and see if there's some easy food for us to grab down here first. Our food stores are full already. What we can do to help that out, yeah, there's some food just lying here for us to pick up. I can tell group 1 to come down here and collect that. And then what we can do is go over here to the upgrades and upgrade our food storage area. This costs food to do, but it'll allow us to store more food, obviously. We can also upgrade our ants, our worker ants, but I'm going to hold it. We don't have that much food yet, so I'm going to hold on to that for now, because the next thing we want to be doing is building a space to grow our army ants, the black ants, who are tougher melee fighters. Boy, that we used up that food really quickly. I'm reluctant to go down into any of these places with the exclamation points yet, because we have no other ants. We have no fighter ants to do it. Let's try up here. Not sure what's
a mole cricket is burrowing into the nest.
We've already got a mole cricket
ants
coming
must
in.
mount a defense
don't go
quickly,
through there.
or
Okay,
their brood will be
food.
forfeit.
It's just larvae back in here. But we got to get some. This cricket is going to be very tough to kill with just worker ants. In fact, I hope we don't lose right here, because we did not build any army ants right off the bat. You can put health bars over them. I think we'll be okay. He's down to about half health already, just from the worker ants, and we've got enough of them. It costs food to build these little nests, and then it costs a little bit of food to actually hatch a new ant. So we got to make sure we have some food stored up here, so that there's food to birth new ants, hatch new ants as they get killed fighting this wood cricket. All right, next thing we need to be thinking about, he's going to go down. We'll get him pretty quickly. Now he's almost down. All right, we can watch him go down. Once he goes down, he'll generate even more food for us. So at that point, it'll be time for us to start thinking about putting down a little nest for our worker ants. Excuse me, our army ants, our black ants. So let's see if there's a space to do that. We got a lot of stone and not much dirt here. It's going to be really hard to find a place to do this. Maybe over here, I guess. That's a place to start anyway. Okay, now let's put down some fighting ants. These cost 50 food just to build the nest tile, and then more food after that to actually hatch them. But that will give us a nice leg up on some defensive ants as they hatch. And then, as with the other tiles, you can go in and upgrade these. In fact,
this colony must remain small for now. Food is too scarce to support greater numbers.
We've used up all our food so far. There's no more larvae up here to collect. We have to find something else to harvest food-wise. I guess we can go through to here. Let's see what's through here. This is going to be a little tough. I'm going to put the army ants into... Okay, there's one of the spiders. So this is a trap spider.
Segestria florentina. A funnel web spider.
A funnel web spider.
She is large, fast, and equipped with a deep, powerful bite. Her lair is carpeted by sheets of silk woven between tripwires that radiate out from the entrance. She can detect even the slightest vibrations with her sensitive legs.
Well...
Any ant that strays too close will be snapped away in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, which is exactly what she just did. She just one shot killed all of those army ants. And we have no food left to hatch new ones. So she's down to just a little bit of health, so there's a chance that our worker ants may be able to take her out. Unfortunately, they're harvesting food right now, which I can turn off, but I don't harvest food. I can turn off their food harvesting. Don't even see the food. right? Is that how to do it? Well, there's some way to turn off their food. Here it is. Don't.
By working
harvest.
together,
Okay.
the ants have overwhelmed one of the funnel web spiders.
Great.
She won't be causing any more trouble for the colony.
She won't be causing any
Her
more trouble for the
sisters,
colony.
however, still present a problem.
And she will provide food. They'll harvest up her body.
Mole crickets are burrowing into the nest.
And
The
that'll be
ants must
food
defend
for
in
us
multiple locations at once.
to hatch new army ants. And here, let's bring our army ants over here. Oh, we got 2 mole crickets coming in now. Let's bring this other batch of worker ants over here to fight that mole cricket. We gotta keep them away from the queen.
A sanguinious scout has sensed the presence of the black ants. A raid on the colony is now inevitable.
Okay.
The question remains as to whether they will merely pillage a generation of young, or wipe out the colony entirely.
We got one of the mole crickets.
In the end, it will come down to the tenacity of the defending ants.
And you see, they call them mole crickets. If you see, once it dies, it's got these very mole-like claws on its forelegs. You can sort of see them there, but they're easier to see when they die. And these guys aren't taking them down very quickly. I got to bring the army ants over here. Yeah, because the worker ants aren't doing such a good job against this guy. Okay, that's not too bad. Now let's try to bust through and find a little bit more food before this first group of
predators are loose in the nest.
Slave ants
the larvae must be protected.
It's another funnel web spider darting out to get our fighters. See, he's just one-hit killing all of our freaking fighters. Damn. We really need more guys over here to overwhelm her. All right, we did. She's down. And we're going to be harvesting her for food, and we'll use that food to birth more ants and to upgrade the ants that we've already created. In fact, let's do that now if we're going to have a little bit of food now. Let's upgrade this first batch of the black ants, the fighters. So they're a little bit tougher because we're going to have them ready once those slave ants come. In fact, let's station our fighters up here waiting for the slave ants to come in from the surface. The slave makers. Because they're going to steal our young and take them back to their nest and raise them as their own. And again, you know, none of this is made up. This is all based on real life stuff, so pretty freaking cool, honestly. Which is what I like about it. We've got more food down in here. Let's make sure that these worker ants are coming down for this food that was left over in the tunnel, the funnel web spider's lair. They also have to get back in and harvest that body. Which means we probably want to be growing or hatching more workers. I don't feel like we really have enough to do that yet. I'm going to upgrade. I can upgrade.
The raiding party has arrived.
Storage. Here
the
come
slave
the slave
makers will head straight for the brood chambers. They must
stealing
be
our
stopped.
larva. But this will be a pretty light wave to begin with.
The raiding party has left,
Good.
and with them they have taken 10% of
That's
the black
nothing.
ant brood.
That's nothing. We did
The
well.
Fuska colony must replenish quickly if they are to survive the next assault.
Yeah, that's not going to be... it's going to get much, much harder, though. Let's dig out. Let's see if we can... I can't... There's a way you want to craft these nests. You want them to be in hexes, like this. Here come more wood crickets, or mole crickets.
A mole cricket is burrowing into the nest.
Let's bring
The ants must mount a
fighters
defense
over.
quickly, or their brood will be forfeit.
And the most efficient way to build these nests is to build them in these hexagons.
The ants must defend themselves.
But you also want them surrounded by walls, so to keep them safe. So there's a lot of rock here that's not allowing us to really dig this out the way we want it to be dug out. But I think we'll be okay. All right, let's get the workers back here to the central entrance area so that they can defend against any more slave maker ants that come in. And now let's see about doing another batch of... We don't really have that much food, so I think we need... Well, let's bring our worker ants over and harvest her body. This stuff is all food. I'm not sure why they're not picking this up. They really should be. They're not really harvesting her body either. We got plenty of food, plenty of room to store the food, so I'm not really sure what's going on. Why are we not? Oh, because I turned it off. I turned off the food harvesting down here because I wanted them to focus on fighting. And now, and because of that, they weren't gathering any food anywhere, which is a problem. All right, I'd take the fighter ants off of their guard duty and have them help harvest her body, but it's been a while since that first raid. I'll bet another one's coming. In fact, another one's coming in 10 seconds. We got an indicator up here in the upper right-hand corner telling us we're 10 seconds away from another raid. Let's get the workers ants over here as well as cannon fodder. In fact, let's put them in front of the fighters as cannon fodder. Here they come.
There is no respite from the culling. The Sanguinier will subjugate or exterminate.
They got away with one larva. I think that's it. We won.
The raiding party is left, and with them they have taken 10% of the black ant brood.
That's okay.
The danger may be gone for now, but this truce is merely a formality. The Sanguini are already planning their next onslaught.
I don't know about planning, but I'm sure they'll get over here. Okay, now they'll harvest up her body, and that'll become food, and then we'll use that food to make more ants. This tile has been temporarily disabled because that's where the slave makers stole the larva from. But now I think it's time for us to start building more fighting ants because, well, maybe we should upgrade these guys first. Let's see if we can upgrade them before building more. I can upgrade you, I can upgrade you, I can upgrade you. So there are 3 upgrade levels, and they get tougher and faster with every upgrade. Now I can upgrade one of these tiles to level 3, which is the toughest. So good. And then maybe instead of building, alright, I think since we just had another raid, let's get our fighters over here and then dig this out and see what's back in there. There's going to be more food back in there.
Mole crickets are burrowing into the nest.
Oh, shoot.
The ants must defend in multiple locations at once.
Okay. No, don't go in there. Don't go in there. We need to... Oh, there's 3 mole crickets coming in. This is the challenge mode, guys. This is where it gets really freaking tough. Oh, no, they're heading right for the freaking queen, too. This is going to be tough. We don't have that much food either. Every time...
The queen is in imminent danger.
Every time one of these ants dies, you need 5 food to hatch the next one. So we got to keep collecting food and fighting. If we run out of food while we're fighting and ants are dying, we won't be getting any reinforcements. And we'll lose, basically. That'll be it. Game over. Alright, great. We took out 3 wood crickets. That's going to be a lot of food for us once we harvest up their bodies. And then we can let's bring the workers back in here first to kind of distract the funnel web spider at first, and then our
There is no
will
respite from the culling. The Sanguinier will subjugate
coming in. Shoot.
or exterminate.
The slave makers are coming in. Alright, we repelled that one. Let's get our workers and our fighters.
The raiding party is left, and with them they have taken 10% of the black ant brood. The queen must lay quickly to return the colony to its former strength.
Yep, no kidding, but there's a lot of food back in here, so this will really help. Including her body. And one thing we could be doing here... I kind of built I didn't really build the food store that far away from the food because there's a lot more food over here too. Which we'll get to eventually, and that's going to be what determines how quickly we can finish this, is how much food we have to build and upgrade more ants. I should turn these all the way off, these notifications. I've read all these already, so I'm not reading them with you. There's plenty of food in here, guys. Go ahead, pick it up, grab it. Come on. And why are we not hatching more larvae? Food stores are full. Can we upgrade this food storage anymore? We can. We can upgrade that one, and then once that one's upgraded, we should be able to maybe upgrade another one? No? No, we're going to have to expand this food storage. I don't know if we're going to be able to. Yeah, we should be able to.
Predators are loose in the nest.
Another funnel
The larvae must be protected.
Let's get the fighters over here. Our workers are trying to harvest food, but she's coming out and grabbing them. send the workers in as well, just as cannon fodder. Man, she just took... Oh, she's so deadly. Look at her. Look at her go. Alright, she's down. Good, good, good. Now we need to build more food store areas.
A mole cricket is burrowing into the nest. The ants
cricket?
must mount a defense quickly, or their brood will be forfeit.
Is it just one? And where? I think it's just one. We'll be okay. Let's get the fighters over here. And let the workers continue. Looks like they've...
There is no respite from the culling.
Here come
The
more of the
Sanguinia will
Sanguinia,
subjugate
more the slave
or
makers.
exterminate. The
The
queen is in imminent danger.
Yeah, because that frickin' mole, excuse me, that freaking mole thing. Oh, this is bad. Yeah, we're probably going to lose this. I imagine it's going to take me a couple of 2 or 3 playthroughs to actually win this mission. Because on challenge mode, it's really hard. It's really hard. Our food stores are allegedly full. I don't know how when I just put down all this new food storage. But we can now, now that it's built, we can upgrade these. Cost food to upgrade, but...
The raiding party has left,
Takes money
and
to
with
make
them
money.
they have taken 20% of the black ant brood.
20% is not good, but it's
It
not
is only
terrible.
a matter of time before they return.
Okay, upgrading off. Actually, any more upgrading we can do? We can upgrade our black ants, our worker ants a little bit. That makes them a little bit tougher and a little bit faster. But we really need to focus on expanding our actual fighters here. Alright, let's see if we can do that here. Nope, see there's stone there, that's a problem. Stone here.
There are intruders in the nest.
Another funnel web. And down she goes. Okay. Alright, let's see about building some more nests for our fighters. And again, guys, I'm just on my second mission. I just got this last night, so I'm not pretending to be any kind of an expert. If you have any hints or tips, please let me know. I'm doing the best I can, but I still have a lot to learn. Can we immediately upgrade some of these guys? I think we can. The upgrading...
This colony must remain small for now.
Whoops,
Food is too scarce to support greater numbers.
I may have overdone it there. Yeah, I kind of jumped the gun on that. We have no food left now. The fighter ants are very expensive to build.
Predators are loose in the nest. The larvae must be protected.
Funnel web spider.
The slave makers are back. They can sense
here come the
larvae,
slave
and
makers.
they want their share.
Bad timing, bad timing. Kill it. Okay.
Mole crickets
fighters
are
get
burrowing
here.
into the nest.
And now we
the
got
ants
mole
must
crickets
defend
coming
in
in
multiple
too.
locations at once.
Challenge mode. Very difficult. They're stealing a lot of larvae. We lost a lot of larvae. Oh, they're actually attacking the queen. And now we got mole crickets on them too. Four mole crickets.
The raiding party
And
is
we're
left.
out of food. So
With
we've
them,
lost,
they have taken
basically.
40% of the black ant brood.
And like I said, I'm
The danger
at
may
this,
be gone for now, but this truce is merely a formality.
and it's very
the
hard.
Sanguinia are already planning their next onslaught.
I mean, the challenge levels are very hard, especially as a beginner, because you haven't upgraded your ants much. You can make them tougher and faster elsewhere, and there goes our queen.
The defending colony was weak, and not worth the effort of a prolonged raiding campaign. Instead, the aggressors slaughtered their would-be hosts. They are now moving on. There are more lucrative opportunities to be found elsewhere in the Undergrowth.
So there you have it, guys. Empires of the Undergrowth. I was expecting to fail this mission. I'm not like bummed out about it. And I played it, played it with you guys, knowing that I was probably going to fail. So let's not freak out. We can try the level again at some point. We got a little bit of stuff just for trying, but we'll come back and try this again, or I'll try it again on my own and take us to another mission eventually. Again, we're back here at our main base, the Formicarium, and this has 2 levels that you can go up to the surface here too. You can see this is, as I said, in a laboratory. So here's the water tube bringing water in, and you can actually find the edges of the Formicarium here. And then they drop seeds for you to keep your guys fed, and so on and so forth. It's a really interesting game, guys. If you've seen any of my other stuff, you know that there are a couple of things that really get me jazzed up about a game, and one is a good exploration, rewarding exploration, but also just something new and different, you know. And I've been playing RTS games for 30 years. I've never played a game like this before. It's really interesting, and I'm learning a lot about the ants too, which is kind of cool. You know, learning about how they live and the predators they face, and I'll definitely be playing more of this. So leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy Empires of the Undergrowth, and there'll be more coming down the road. Stay safe, survivors.